Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how to get a ghostwriter to write your book. There's more to finishing your book than simply hiring a ghostwriter, and these tips will help ensure that your collaboration with your ghostwriter is as strong as possible. By the end of this video, you'll learn the process of finding and hiring a ghostwriter, how the book comes together, and why working with the ghostwriter should be a hands-on collaborative process. And stay tuned till the end of the video for a free gift. Let's dive in. There are lots of good ghostwriters out there, and simply put, I deem myself one of them. It helps that my last name is good. My whole branding on my website is Good Ghostwriting. But I think it's important to think about that process, that there's good everything out there. And it's a really important thing when you're looking to hire a ghostwriter to find a good ghostwriter, not just a ghostwriter. You can go on Upwork and Fiverr and find any ghostwriter to write anything for you, but are they the right fit? Are they the right person? Do they have the right experience? So it's important as you approach this process to think in those terms. How can the ghostwriter help you accomplish your goals and get you to the next level? It's crucial as a result to have due diligence throughout the process of bringing on a book ghostwriter. That means looking in the right places, taking the right steps, following your gut. In terms of looking at the right places, I always recommend LinkedIn. I recommend Association of Ghostwriters, Readsy. I'm a part of a group as well called Book This. It's at bookthistalk.com, full of great ghostwriters and coaches. Gotham Ghostwriters is another great network. It's really imperative to look in the right places because you can literally find ghostwriters anywhere, but they probably aren't the right fit for you. Within that, there are specific niches, there are specific focuses. Each ghostwriter is going to come in with different skill sets. Some ghostwriters are great for fiction, some are nonfiction. I deal only in nonfiction. Some within nonfiction might have different skills in different topic areas. Maybe they've written a bestseller in a specific area. As a member of Gotham Ghostwriters, I get pitches from them pretty consistently. They're a pretty big network, and they will send through these pitches with specific needs and requests. We're looking for somebody who has memoir experience, who has ghostwritten a bestseller, X, Y, and Z. It's really nice sometimes to burrow down and find a ghostwriter with that experience, and it's also nice sometimes to explore a more generalized ghostwriter and understand that they're bringing the story experience and you're bringing the expertise, that you're bringing your story and your message and they're helping you bring it out. They don't necessarily need to be a subject matter expert. It doesn't hurt, but at the same time, typically isn't their book. So if you're working with a ghostwriter, you want it to be your book, not theirs. And the more expertise you bring, even if they're bringing story expertise and they have to get up to speed on some elements of your message, don't necessarily discount that right away. When looking to bring on a ghostwriter, interview them, talk to them, whether on Zoom or phone, talk to the references, learn more about them. You want to really feel like this is a good relationship. This is going to be a 6 to 9 month, 12 month, 15-month process. You want to know that you're a good match. You want to know that this is going to be a long-term commitment and that you're going to want to meet with this person every week, because just like book writing, if you're not gelling and connecting with your book ghostwriter, you're inclined to find reasons not to meet with them. You're inclined to find reasons to not continue forward with the book, to let it go dormant, to find other things to spend your time on. You want to keep moving forward with this. You don't want to bring on a ghostwriter only to find out you don't like them and now you're stuck for a while. You want to be able to feel empowered, and doing that effort, following that effort at the beginning of this process, even before a contract is signed, is going to help make everything else smoother after the fact. Books typically come into focus through a series of meetings. I like to meet with my clients about once a week for an hour. I feel like that's enough time where I have enough writing material to work with. They're not too burdened. I'm not too burdened. Meeting more than that or less than that can have adverse effects. If you meet all the time, it doesn't leave the writer as much time to do the writing. And if you don't meet enough, the writer might not have anything to work on. There might be stops and starts throughout the process. And I just think something falls off in the communication when you're not meeting consistently enough. Spend too much time catching up with each other every time you're meeting again. So weekly meetings are great. And from those weekly meetings, the book ghostwriter can then take your material, whether it's writing, audio recordings, podcast, text that you've written, and blend it all together into a chapter. And those chapters begin to take shape over time and stack up together, and that becomes the book. Lots of people view book ghostwriting as a hands-off process. Set it and forget it, like Ron Popeil. You just kind of give it to the book ghostwriter and send them off on their way, and then they come back with a draft. And that's not really what this means. This is a collaborative process. This really requires you to be present at meetings. You know, it's not enough just to have a meeting. You need to be present to block out distractions. I've had so many meetings with clients where I'm raring to go, I'm excited to meet with them, and then they're too busy. This email popped up, this person's bothering them, this and this and this, and next thing you know, the time's up and I need to move on. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you really want to make progress with a book and life keeps getting in the way. So if you can block out distractions and commit to an hour a week, you know, I think it's a really effective way to keep the project moving forward while not really compromising on your busy life, because that's what this is all about. It's about being able to bring the book forward without compromising, without stopping, without pulling back from the success that you're having, the company you're running, anything else. You want to be able to keep that all happening while building a book on top of it. And book ghostwriting allows you that opportunity. The most important part of this process of writing your book is your experiences, your message, your vulnerability, your ups and your downs. Without being able to give yourself, without being able to tell your story as effectively as possible, your ghostwriter is only going to be able to do so much. The ghostwriter is really taking material that they're given. And if they're not given good material, they're not going to write a powerful book. I've heard so many stories and worked with so many people who struggled to break that wall, to be vulnerable, to open up and tell their stories effectively, and their books suffered. I go back to Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones frontman. In the early 1980s, he started writing a book with the ghostwriter. And the ghostwriter was given a little bit of time to meet with him, I think, and he had a month or so, a couple weeks to bring forward this book based on transcripts of Mick Jagger's interviews. And it was boring. The story was boring and it didn't go anywhere, and the publisher passed, or Mick Jagger walked away. The book was never published. If Mick Jagger can write a boring book, so can you, so can I, so can anybody else. And that's really what this boils down to. This isn't just let it go and the book ghostwriter is going to turn out gold. Like, that's not how this works. You really need to be committed to it, to be passionate about it, to bring your very best. And by bringing your very best, the ghostwriter can then build off of that, bring their best to it, and take it to a new place. You know, when I think of ghostwriting and I think of working and collaborating with authors, I think of my friend Rich. When we first connected with him, first meeting, he had Post-it notes all over the wall in the back of his room. Every single piece of his story, of his family's story, was a Post-it note. Post-it note, Post-it note, Post-it note. There was hundreds of them. I had no idea how this was going to happen, how we were going to bring this forward, how we were going to make it work. But we, week by week, meeting by meeting, little by little, were able to keep making progress with the book, keep moving forward, building momentum. And it required so much emotional growth from Rich to be able to address the topics in his book. He was really locked in. He was really stuck for a while. And wasn't able to even review some of the material that I'd provided to him. Like, he just wasn't ready to address it. And being able to work with him and keep sticking with it, it was such a meaningful process because he was able to get to a place of emotional closure and move forward in power, in confidence. He was able to move forward and find peace in his life in a way that I never even expected. I don't know that he did either. And by the end of the writing process, as we were getting the draft together, there was a weight that lifted from him emotionally. His life was different. His life was altered because of the fact that we had worked on this book together. And I can sense it even in the conversations I have with him today. He's a different person because of being able to write that book. And it's so special for me to help unlock that and just to be able to be a part of that. Just know that all of this effort led to something great and bigger and aided somebody and helped their life. It's such an awesome, powerful thing. And I see the success he's had working through that process and the empowerment that he's felt from me being able to find closure and being able to move forward in his life. And I just think it encapsulates everything that I'm trying to accomplish. I don't go out to specifically accomplish that with every single client, with every book. I mean, some of these books are focused on business topics and financial situations. I mean, they're not going to have the same emotional bearing, but being able to see closure and growth and clarity and understanding and being able to see him reach a new peak of enlightenment in his life, it's such an awesome thing and such a powerful thing. And, you know, when I think about ghostwriting, that's the project that comes to mind. I mean, that's really something that was life-changing for him and will be something that will always be special to me. All right, now that you've learned how to get a ghostwriter to write your book, I'd love to invite you to a free course that I recorded. The course is called Good Book Blueprint. Just go to goodbookblueprint.com. Click the link below. I recorded the book with one of my dear book writing colleagues, Nate Woodbury, and we addressed the book writing, editing, and publishing process from the author and the ghostwriter perspective. And it was so powerful to be able to connect with him and talk to him about the process. And I know you're going to feel that power too, because you'll be able to learn the ups and downs, the pain points, the struggles, and the opportunities and awesomeness, the awesome power that comes with writing a book.